But the main thing I watched a good old Netflix documentary called Trust No One, The Hunt for the Crypto King.
Oh, God. That's a title, isn't it?
Oh, it's a mouthful. Yeah, I thought it was just, yeah. Anyway, get past the title, it's fine. So it basically is the story of Jerry Cotton, who's a so-called like a crypto genius, and he founded the cryptocurrency trading platform called Quadriga. And the way we're sort of introduced to the situation of what's going on, it's the story of a crypto investor, a Canadian Chinese man called Tong Zhu. And he'd taken out about 85 grand's worth of loans and managed to invest in Bitcoin whilst it was still only worth a few dollars. Wow. And sure enough, very quickly, Bitcoin exploded. And at its highest point, I think it was worth about 18 grand in dollars.
Per Bitcoin,
so this guy was just absolutely living the high life, multiple mortgages, luxury cars, boats, the whole lot, just absolutely living it up. And so in 2021, so this was obviously filmed quite recently because it all happened within the last 6 months, I would think. So in 2021, you'll probably remember, China announced that it was banning everything sort of crypto related, and Bitcoin absolutely crashed. So overnight, its value went from 18 grand or whatever it was at that point down to about 4,000. So
3 grand or something like that, wasn't it?
I think so. So it's 4 grand in dollars. So I suppose it would depend on the day, but they're there or there. But anyway, it absolutely crashed. So
it turned billionaires into millionaires.
Yeah, the poor souls,
poor bastards.
F. Take a moment's silence. But anyway, this guy, he went from having millions, as he said, to about 400 grand overnight, which 400 grand in a bank account, fine, but it's not the millions that he was used to. Yeah, I've never had that much. I mentioned that the Tong was Canadian. So when he decided, what he had to do basically was withdraw the remaining currency to his bank account or to cash. And rather than withdraw it from the trading platform that he was on, which would withdraw it as American dollars of the bank would have taken about a 2% commission to transfer it to Canadian dollars. What he decided to do was to transfer his Bitcoin to this Quadriga sort of platform, which was a Canadian company as well, and withdraw it that way. So he started the withdrawal process, and after a few days, he'd heard nothing, no money, nothing.
God,
at all. Bear in mind, this is his life savings, and this is literally all he's had left from what remained of what he'd invested. And he's, got the 85 grand to pay back. He's got mortgages, this, that, and the other. So several weeks later, he'd heard nothing still. And this post appears on the Quadriga website from Jerry Cotton's wife, saying that he died suddenly and unexpectedly whilst he was in India on their honeymoon, I think, due to complications of Crohn's disease. But not only that, he died with all the passwords to everything. So everything to do with that company had died of with him. No one had access to anything. So supposedly no one could release these funds that people had asked for. So inevitably the internet sleuths got involved. So they got on the case because obviously the circumstances were sus. So people's first thoughts obviously were that he'd faked his own death, and there appeared to be substantial evidence to back it up. Someone got hold of some information that made it seem as though a load of money had been transferred from Quadriga to a plastic surgeon in Bermuda. So people are like, has he gone through loads of facial surgery so that he can't be recognized and just kind of go on with everyone's money, living the high life? He also filed a will about 12 days before he died. And then obviously the most obvious thing is that he was 30 years old. 30-year-olds don't tend to just drop down dead, even if they do suffer from Crohn's disease. If I go on
life-threatening disease,
but I mean, it's not very pleasant, but you can live with it, and many people do.
Yes.
But anyway, if I go any kind of further with it, I'll end up spoiling it for the people that do want to watch it. But as always, there's kind of 100 twists and turns, as there normally is with a Netflix documentary. But
cliffhangers, even though you're going to binge it all. I'd never got.
Well, actually, this one is just the one episode, so it's like a sort of a feature-length movie rather than an actual series. But yeah, it was fun. It filled up the afternoon, and it was interesting to see what had actually transpired. But that was it for me this week. A little short one.